Hey there, YouTubers. Gonna go out to the van. We're gonna do a video. I got some interesting stuff to talk about. So, yeah, let's go in here and let me get settled and I'll start talking. All right, YouTubers, we're gonna do something a little different. For me, I'm on camera, and I know that's how you're supposed to do YouTube videos, but I don't normally do them this way, so we're gonna do it this way. What I want to say real quick, none of this is written down or scripted like good YouTubers do. I'm just gonna talk van life about this whole thing of doing stuff in a Class B camper van, right? We'll get to the point. It's probably going to be about 20 minutes once I start to finally get going. Like I said, thanks for coming. I think one day we might end up where everybody has a YouTube or whatever social media channel, and we just sit in cubes watching each other do stuff and watching a lot of people pretend to do stuff they're not really doing. So with that, what I'm going to talk about today is I've had this van for, I hate to admit because I don't like to act old, but like 12 years. I've loved every day in it. So what happened the other day is I decided we haven't been camping much because a lot of stuff went on this year. We haven't been RVing or whatever you want to call it. Some people get wound up about little words. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to go camping. It's just me, the voice head stuff. I was going to go to a campground we had showed you this year that was free with no power. And then I looked at the weather, and it was like the day before. I looked at the weather and I was like, you know, I'm soft. I haven't done a lot of camping lately, and it's going to be kind of nasty, which means just sitting in the van like a lot of the time, because people sit in their vans more than they tell you. People aren't always as cool as they try to be on camera. So I said, well, I'm soft. I don't want to go sit in the woods. You know what I mean? By a river. Well, without power. And I'm like, okay, I'll just go to a campground. I'll have power. I'll relax. It'll be cool. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm going to pay to go camping? I just have not been in this van for such a long time that I wanted to do it. So I driveway camped in our own driveway. We got 30 amp in the garage, well, 30 and 50 actually. And I plugged in and I'm like, okay, I'm going to camp and I'm going to do everything in the driveway like I would normally do when I'm RVing. Cool, I thought. And actually for you guys and for me, I think it was an awesome experience. When I told the voice about it, she just got back and I guess she hadn't seen some of my old videos, and if you've been around for a long time, like some people have, at the very beginning I said, if you want to go camping in a Class B van, just lock yourself in your bathroom for a long weekend or 4 days. Just stay in there for that amount of time. That's what van life is. You got a bathroom, you can cook on the kitchen sink, you know, that whole kind of silly thing. Well, this little experiment made me realize I think I was more correct than I even thought I was. It opened my eyes to it. And we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to take a break. What I am also doing is I will show you what I'm doing right now to make this video. That's how I'm sitting. Again, if you've been here before, my lighting's terrible. Half the time my sound is not very good. It's kind of old school, like how people used to be before it seemed like everybody realized, oh, I can try to make money and we've turned YouTube into like trying to do TV shows. Sometimes it's cool and sometimes it's sad, and there's as many commercials in people's YouTube videos as there are on TV sometimes it seems like. And I would like to say I have never and will never take a sponsor, get paid to do anything. I have done many reviews of products that I use while I've been in my van. There are tons of them on my YouTube channel. Never sponsored, never took a penny for it. I'm not better than anybody else. I just don't think it's right, and I don't like doing it, so I don't do it. So a very guerrilla kind of thing. Right here, I'd lost them for a long time. I've had so much, for those who have been here, I've had so much trouble with audio for a long time. So I got that. I found the pieces part, and maybe while I keep rambling, I'll plug that back in. But I'm using an Action 4, and I have the GoPro, my old GoPro 11, running backup so I can see which one I like better. And I will tell you, The Action 4 is a much better camera, but I've found without external microphones and stuff that the GoPro with the media mod, that the audio is better with that. So that's enough about that. I'm going to get back to talking about what we're here to talk about, which is van life. What it's like in a Class B van. And we're going to talk about that, but I need another break. Think and coffee. All right. To try to get this perspective and to make the video take far too long to get to the final point, and there might not even be a final point. Last summer, not this one that's just ending, the summer before, we had a bunch of people come to visit. We went on one decent camping trip and really didn't do hardly any other. This year, this summer, I think we did 3 camping trips total. That's it. One with some other people, one by ourselves. And there was another one, I think. Or maybe it was those 4 days I stayed out in the van in the damn driveway. So we have not done a lot of camping lately. And if you've been here, like I said before, I spent a lot of time in Cousin Eddie, this van. So it's been very strange for that, which might also affect everything I'm getting ready to talk about. I had learned through all the years and thought I gave other people good advice that if you're claustrophobic, you're not going to do well in a van. And as I look around, I realize basically 2 years of not doing much camping, I didn't like it as much. And I'm like a diehard at this stuff. I've heard forever that people hit a wall sometimes and they just get over the van life. So we've been talking a lot about, because we take 2 vehicles because we got the dog and we got the cat. And they don't get along. So we've talked about getting another RV, but we've been going camping the little bits we've done the last couple of years. We did a lot more the year before that. We did a ton of it in 2 vans. Fantastic time. But what I learned is I don't know that I'm a van dude that much anymore. Because here's what I learned. I cooked a London broil, and I probably got video, so maybe I'll overlay it with it or I'll just put it in there. And it turned out fantastic. Even the voice, who's more plant-based than even I am, I cheat on real food more than she does. She thought it was fantastic. And I've had 2 this year. So I started to cook the stuff that goes with it inside the van. And I realized this irritates me more than I even remember. And I'm like, I'm in the driveway. I went in the house. I cooked the rest of the stuff in the house. I made coffee out here. I dealt with some stuff out here, but I realized...
Oh, it's still tender.
This stuff...
It's medium.
It's harder than I remember. I got really used to it and would get super frustrated at times, which you didn't see in YouTube videos very much. I try to be as real as I can be, and I think more real than a lot of other people. I think a lot of Instagram stuff and a lot of pretty people playing in the sun is a lot of BS usually. But I try to be honest, and it was just really irritating. I'd gotten used to the thing I've always said in here, you have to play the shuffle game in a van, where I can carry an amazing amount of stuff, almost too much stuff in this van. I have huge storage. I've showed 100 videos before. If you're interested in what this 99 Leisure Travel can carry, just look in my videos. So I could put a lot of stuff in here, more than the Voices van by far, and better than any other van. So when it comes to storage, this is a great van for that. The new ones are terrible. Most of them have 0 outside storage. So if you have a grill, you either got to put something on the back of them, or what are you going to carry it inside? But anyways, I still think the older vans are better than the newer vans, but this van is 26 years old, and that's another issue. It's got issues. It's not as good as it used to be. I'm not too nervous driving it. I don't think I would jump in and do another down to Key West from here or over to the West Coast from here like I've done it in the past. It would make me a little nervous. But I realized that, and I only had 1 cat out with me. I brought Vinny out with me. I only had 1 cat where I always had 2 for a while. And that's frustrating in a very small van. three breathing creatures trying to live their lives getting on each other's nerves. So I think if you watch too many Instagram things, you can get made to believe that this is the greatest thing ever. Now, here is what I will say in my own defense for the experience I just had. I've been doing this like 12 years, like I said. I know what it's like, and I know the most important thing is you have to go outside. The weather wasn't great, so I treated it like a not great weather. I had to go do some other things. I went on walk or whatever like that. So I wasn't in here 24 hours a day for the whole time, but maybe it was because it was the driveway, but it just didn't feel as cool. I have more to say, but I got to take another break. It's hot in here actually today. The heat's been crazy. The weather's been crazy. So we're going to come back in a little bit. It's going to be just a second. You're going to see the rest of the video. Put the little microphone on there. This is not one of those, I'm not getting enough views, I'm going to quit YouTube, or I'm done with van life. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just going through, I had the idea of all the stuff that kind of bugged me that I've always tolerated before, but because of the long break and doing much of this, I thought maybe it would be interesting or helpful for others to hear. So, over the 4 days, I had my TV in here. I had brought DVDs. I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch some DVDs. I'll fiddle around on my laptop doing this and that. And then I realized, well, we got a Wi-Fi extender. I can connect to the Wi-Fi. And I was watching movies out here a little bit and goofing around and just kind of decompressing and doing something a little different and being into the van that I love. And I realized, like, I've shown before, like, I do this thing with, let's see if I got one. No, they're not here. I call them Save the Planet bags. The bags, instead of getting plastic bags, you get the canvas bags. They give them to you at RV shows. I put all my clothes in those, and it's really cool. And every one of the things I've done that I think is the best idea that I've done is I can organize them by color codes and have my clothes. It's just, for me, it has worked really well. And I realized this is irritating that you have to do it, because in a small van, and again, the newer ones have less storage than this van. You have to pretty much move something to get to anything you want. The shuffle game. And I've joked about it, and you get used to it. Again, out of practice. I found it irritating. You know what I mean? I just felt like, man, I need some more space. So, like I said, this isn't quitting RVing, but being honest, right now the voice and I aren't sure what we're going to do, because these vans are old, not worth much. Eddie is the greatest van in the history of van life. I don't care what anybody out there says. I've had a lot of comments say the same thing. And Eddie is wonderful, but Eddie is just faithful. You know what I mean? It's got a lot of bumps and bruises. Not everything in here is working right. Not everything is how it's supposed to be. But Eddie is diligent, and he just keeps on going. So, we may have next year, we're doing the same thing, because we also can't afford, or choose also not to afford, what everybody views and buys and talks about like it's not insane. Oh yeah, we got a Class B. It was only $170,000. Have you people lost your minds? That kind of thing too. Not only if you want to do van life, will you do the stuff that I've talked and will continue talking about, you got to pay a lot of money for one of these things. Unless you get something 26 years old, I can probably still get 10 grand, maybe 15 if I cleaned them up real nice and tried to sell them to somebody I didn't know, because I wouldn't do that. This stuff's expensive. All right, I wonder how this sounds. So I'm going to take a break here and check the microphone. All right, we're going to do this one without the GoPro, because I listened to it and I think it's good enough. So what I wanted to say next is, I've kind of thought for a long time, for the majority of people that go RVing, there are like 3 phases.
And I don't actually fall into them myself, but I think for most people, there are three phases. It starts out, you're younger when you want to do this stuff. A lot of times that means you don't have a lot of money and you buy something smaller, right? Most people start out a little bit smaller, then they get a little bit older and they got a little bit more money and they decide they need to take their entire house with them everywhere they go. Those people, again, I guess I am taking a shot. Um, I'm the last thing you would call a minimalist, but some people, I'm like, what are you doing? I'll find a picture and put it in here of somebody I met that this was the rig they were taking. That is a 40-foot diesel pusher. Then he had these set of wheels that he connected to that, and then he had this double trailer which had a garage. So he had two cars in there. Take the bottom one out, put the garage down, take the second one out. Two cars, 40-foot motorhome, thing in the middle. He was longer than it was legal for a professional CDL holding truck driver to drive. And he didn't have it. So, anyways, there's a lot of people that buy a lot of stuff. So you go small, then you get big, and then when you get a little bit older, which I will not admit, this gray hair started when I was 12. Um, anyways, you get a little older, you downsize, you get smaller. Well, I've been in this for like 12 years. So I haven't done any of those stages. I've stayed right here. And now I think for me, I think even because it's me and the voice and pets now, obviously we have to get something bigger and taking two vehicles was cool for the first couple years when I didn't live here. It was silly, but now it's like dumb, you know what I mean, to continue with two vehicles because of the animals. So you start thinking, okay, what are you going to get? This, see, when I don't have a script, or which I never do, when I just start talking, this is what you get. So I don't want a big RV like ever. I'm never over 30 foot. I just don't see the point. So we've always been thinking, okay, we'll get the smallest Class C. We can get one of the smaller ones, corner bed, all that kind of stuff. Boom, would be good. Um, then you start realizing, like even here in this van, which we've done, and in her van, two people sleeping. Somebody has to get up to let the other person up. So then you start wondering, all right, do you want to walk around? But the whole van life thing gets complicated. But I digress back to what I'm talking about. Van life, not RV life. I wouldn't change anything I've ever done. I don't know if I'll be able to sell Eddie. I love this van. I love it still with all its flaws. Even though I spent $20 and repainted the hood when it looked like a jack-o'-lantern for like 3 years with all the paint coming off it. Um, he has so many imperfections, so many things that aren't perfect, but I have an emotional attachment and it would be difficult to get rid of it. Now, you can have an emotional attachment to things and people and still realize they're not good for you, you know, that it's not working out as well as it used to work out. I think most of us have been there. Glad I ain't there now. But I think when you do something like this and you prepare yourself to probably spend a huge chunk of money, seriously, spend a long weekend in your bathroom. Take a hot plate in there and spend a long weekend in your bathroom. And that's for something like this. Then you have a lot of people that are doing self builds and put a big foam pad on the bottom of a van and call it bed. You know what I mean? So I think I've run out of thoughts. I'm gonna take a break and we'll come back again. All right. I don't know where I'm at yet, but I'm gonna keep going. I want to say again at this point, I am, even though many would, I'm not quitting my YouTube channel. I just can't guarantee you that I'm gonna have the same enthusiasm that I've had for a very long time. I will try to continue to be as genuine in whatever I post, but probably gonna, we ought to have to winterize these. The voices is gonna go into inside storage. Mine is gonna go back to where he's stayed a little bit. So we'll do the winterizing, and I've promised the voice that I need to have us do a lot this winter. Go places. There's a lot of activities up here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in the winter, and if we don't do them, we're going to go crazy. So hopefully we'll do some of them, and I'll have fun and take a camera with. I, again, will probably be the same where I don't go shoot videos. I go do things and videos happen while I'm doing them. But then, I realize there's a little BS to that. Um, I've never purposely gone on a trip to do a video like, I have to go to this place because it'll be really popular and I'll get a lot of views. Inside tip. I think most YouTubers do that crap. Anyways, I've never done that, but yes, going on trips has something to do with videoing them. Again, I've never done it for the money. I really enjoy the process of making a video at times and the interactions with some regulars. So it's not going to stop. I can't guarantee you anybody that has stuck around and keep watching, or if you decide, oh, he said something interesting, I might come back. I don't know. Next year might be another year of vans. If it is, hopefully more. It could be over the winter that we find an RV, or it could be that we decide, hey, we're cruise people. We're going to go on a cruise. I've been on a cruise. I don't think I'm going to do it. Not really my thing. So this stuff will go on. That's funny. I was about to say, you can tell I kind of lost focus here, but the camera turned itself off for me. This Action 4 might be reading my mind. Stop recording. All right, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm at with this. I don't know if other people suffer this. That's my problem. I say stuff, I don't even remember what I'm saying. So this was an experiment that worked well for me. And my takeaway from the experiment was I realized because I haven't RV'd as much as I was, I got soft. Sleeping somewhere where it's kind of cold never would have bothered me years ago. But now I didn't have to, so I found myself going, well, why would I want to do that? Because I brought I even brought out we have a bunch of battery packs, solar panels with EcoFlow and Jackery and stuff like that. I brought like all of them out because I had packed the van to go a place. I swear to you, the van was all packed. The voice was going to drive with me. You know what I mean? To remind me where I was going because I didn't remember where it was at. So I had the van all loaded for that, and I realized I'm soft. I don't want to sleep where it's cold. I put the heated mattress pad where if you're in an RV or a van or even in your house, get one. Stop, just get one.
All right, it is midnight, and I've been running that since 3:15, so that's 8 hours and 45 minutes. It's got 34% left of the battery on level 8. So yeah, it's going to get me through the night. I got the other bigger one if I need it, and I don't need to run it all day like I just did, but that shows that it can run that long, and that's really warm. So yeah.
EcoFlow's batteries like that, things like that are fantastic. But I realized I didn't want to be that soft. And then I realized, okay, I'll go to a campground. And it was almost like an epiphany where I went, for what? You know what I mean? I'm going to go to a campground here. It's going to cost me at least $40 a night to go do that. To try to get the feeling back that ended up causing this video to be made. You know what I'm saying? To see, okay, I realize it's been far too long since I've been camping. I need to go camping. And it ended up, I did it in the driveway, and it ended up less cool than I remembered. Still cool, a little less cool. Just the shuffle game, trying to prepare food, the bathroom. I just went in the house most of the time. You know what I'm saying, guys. But it wasn't as cool as I remembered. Now, obviously, the setting has a lot to do with it, but I lost train of thought. Oh, I remembered something. The cat. Okay. So it was kind of neat because right now the situation is the cat and the dog don't get along. So I don't see Vinny all the time. You know what I mean? He's got a room upstairs where he looks out a window, and then if I'm down in the basement, or sometimes I just put him down in the basement's man cave, he's down there. So I don't spend all day with him. Vinny didn't love the RV before, but he had a good time this time because Vinny, I carry him out here now. He's crying, like making a big scene about being carried out to the van. Um, he hates the driving part. Once we get done with the driving part, he's actually not that bad. So Vinny was happy for 4 days because we hung out pretty much all day for 4 days. So the cat liked it. So it's cat approved. All right. So I'm at the part of the video where I realize it happens in almost every video I make that I've talked too long and I haven't said what I wanted to say and said it in a cool way. I want to be one of them cool people that says cool stuff. So what was my takeaway? Van life is fantastic. You should do van life. If you're looking at this, should I do van life? Yes. You don't have to live full time in it. You can do it on the weekends. You can do it however you want to do it. You should do it. See beautiful places, meet interesting people. You should do it. Now, after having done it for 12 years in the same small van, I'm here to tell you, after 12 years, it might not be as cool as it was the first year. Just saying. You will get frustrated at the beginning with, like I call the shuffle game, and what you have to do and how everything can become more complicated. You know, a lot of people would laugh at me about how I did stuff, but I showed you just how small my kitchen is. So I cooked outside all that I could, almost always. If I could cook outside, I cooked outside. I didn't do dishes in this van because the sink was so small, it was stupid to even put it there. Almost pointless. So I did dishes outside. So there are trade-offs when you decide to do the van life. And for a very long time, you might be fine with that. Just go into it knowing you might spend a lot of money on something that after a while, even if it goes great, that after a while you might want something different or you might lose the interest. So it's a big financial step to take if you buy one now on what they cost. So be prepared for that, but do it. If you're thinking, oh, this guy's acting like I should, no, do it. Go RVing, go camping, go see stuff. If you got that wandering spirit, go do it. Be prepared for the days at the beginning where it's frustrating and seems stupid. That's why I've always said, and I'm glad my brain brought it back. I've said from the beginning, and I will say to the end of time, the best success you will ever have RVing, van lifing, whatever, is when you find the one that fits you the best. When you find the RV that works for you, whatever it is, you can look at every review. When you find the one that's set up and it works and it's just for you, you can have a successful time. If you buy an RV that is not right for you, if you make a compromise on how you want your bed to be or how you want your seating to, how you want anything to be, if you make a compromise, which you'll have to make a lot of them, but if you make a compromise on one of your major issues, you might have the worst experience ever RVing. That's just my opinion. So your initial step is really important. Make sure you find the right one for you. And then learn the stuff that becomes frustrating until it's not frustrating anymore, because that's how life is. It's fine. This is what I have to do. If I want a t-shirt, I put them in these really cool bags, but I have to take 2 bags down. I go through, I pick the t-shirt I want, and I have to put everything back up. And I'm not just grabbing a t-shirt out of a dresser. You know what I mean? It's just different. You'll be fine. Now, this video is being made that because after 12 years and not doing a lot for a little while now, it might not be as cool. That's all I'm saying. Did a lot of talking about that. I mean, I did laugh at myself when I realized, what am I doing? Trying to cook in here. I had my induction thing on the counter like I cook every time if I cook in here. And I'm like, what am I doing? It's getting steam. So I went in the garage. I plugged it in the garage on the workbench and just cooked in there. I don't know. All right. During the break, I did this. This is my kitchen area. Pretty much what it looked like when I got done. Looks terrible. It's a mess. Now this is where you cook in a van. Wait a minute. Got a lot more room. Okay. So yeah, this is a van. Everybody's going to tell you it's wonderful, and it is. But not every second of the day. This is my sleeping. Great. That's a small queen, kind of. It's a great bed.
Everyone will tell you it's a great amount of space. It is, usually. This is the front of the van, the cockpit. Here, the litter box is in here. There's almost always a litter box here, so when I take a step there, when I take one step there, my foot would be in a litter box, and nobody wants that. And that's the driving area. That's the secondary litter box, so if you have a cat, some of them like to pee in one and poop in the other. I didn't think that was a thing, but it is. I got coffee pot. I got storage. The bathroom's in there. There's a toilet, didn't use. This is other storage, water, and all kinds of stuff. So my van has great storage. Has a microwave, has all that stuff. Great storage. Let's get back to me talking.
But van life is great. But there might come a day that RV life becomes van life, that tent life becomes van life or RV life or whatever, and just go with it. Don't make yourself hold on to something because now you think it's not right. I've marveled at, there's a few people I watch that make RV videos for a long time. I have never seen anybody that's made videos the length of time I've made them that have been in the same vehicle. Almost everybody I've seen has changed vehicles once or twice. Some of them a lot. I've been in the same van for 12 years, I think now. And I love it. But 12 years. So just be prepared. I'm going to think again to see if that's the ending that I want to, do my customary have a great and wonderful day. I say that because I really want people to have a great and wonderful day. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you leave a like. I don't care if you come back. But I just want people to have a good day. So I'm going to see if that's what I want to say or if I want to end it a different way. I don't know. Stop recording. So here's what I'm going to do. I may leave in what I just said. Felt a little weird at a point, so I'm just doing behind the scenes stuff. Felt a little weird when I said it. Didn't flow the way I wanted to. But I might leave that as the ending, or this might be the ending. I'm going to say, have a great and wonderful day. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the video off both the Action 4 and the GoPro, look at them, figure out how stupid it sounds, and decide whether or not I'm even going to post it, how much I'm going to edit it. Maybe I'll come back. Oh, that was the wrong finger. Maybe I'll come back and make a brand new one. Maybe I'll come back and put a new ending on. Those are the kind of things you don't know what really happens when people are out doing van life, because a lot of times they're disingenuous. And you don't really know what happens when people make YouTube videos because some people are disingenuous. All right, we're going to call it unless it's really bad. We'll see what I do. This part I'm leaving in to see the quandary in my brain wondering, I don't remember what I said. I probably said a lot of stupid stuff. We'll see if this is going to be the ending. Anything that happens, have a great and wonderful day. All right, so here's another thing that I'm going to add just as I'm getting out of the van. This is my coffee. In this van, you can't stand up to get out. You have to bend down. I just pour coffee all over the place. I don't always love van life. All right, that's it for now. Stop recording.